Welcome back to our second segment. In this segment, we will be covering parents' coping tips, and Sarah, my partner here, she will be giving you specific coping skills. So, for parents, children and teens react in part on what they see from the adults around them. When parents and caregivers deal with the COVID-19 calmly and confidently, they can provide the best support for their children. Parents can be more reassuring to others around them, especially children, if they are being prepared. Not all children and teens respond to stress in the same way. Some common changes to watch out for are excessive crying and irritation in younger children, returning to behaviors they have outgrown, for example, toileting accidents and beds wetting. You can see some regression in their behavior. And don't be alarmed by it. It's not going to be permanent. It's just because of the stress they are facing at this time. Also, excessive worry and sadness. This you see mostly with the younger preteens. They don't understand what's going on, so they are worried and there's sadness. So I will advise parents to try to explain to them in a simple term what is going on and reassure them that they are safe. Safety is key for them. Unhealthy eating and sleeping habits. We know that, when kids are home, they don't go to school, everything changes. All the routine at home changes. So try to, as much as you can, I know it might be asking parents too much, to provide kids with healthy food and maintain a good sleeping habit. And if you are consistent, and because kids they like structure. So if you can structure their time and so they know what to expect. What scares them is when things are out of control and they don't know what's going on. So try to be consistent and maintain a regular schedule with them. Irritability and acting out behaviors in teens. You'll find that a lot with teenagers. Poor school performance and avoiding school. Now you are teaching, making them do homework at home, so they're going to fight you. They're going to resist it. So take frequent breaks. Don't be so upset with them when they don't want to sit and do homework for an hour or more. Let them take frequent breaks and maybe talk to their friends or play some video games and come back to the homework. I will add there, every family have their own routine and things they do, so every family know what works for them. So stick to what works for your family. Difficulty with attention and concentration, you should expect that on the kids. Don't scream and yell, because then they know mom or dad is losing it. They don't know what's going on. Mom must be scared, dad is scared, so I don't know what's going on. So please, as much as you can, try to keep things in check. What I like to advise couples is those emotional feelings that you think will affect the kids, go behind closed door, talk about them, deal with them. When you come out as a united front. Decide what you guys want from the kids and share that. That really helps the children when they know that you guys are working together and they know that they are safe because you are confident in what you are doing. Avoidance of activities enjoyed in the past is something you need to watch out when kids are getting withdrawn and they're not interested in what they normally do. That's a sign that they are stressed. unexplained headaches and body pain, um, and also school use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Uh, Pay attention to what's going on to your teen, because this is a time where other kids might attract them to do things. Know where they are and what is going on, but do it with love. Um, Take time to talk with your child or teen about what we experience in our society. Answer the questions with simple facts. Don't go into too much detail. Reassure your child or teen that they are safe. Let them know it's okay if they feel upset. Share with them how you deal with your own stress so they can learn how to cope from you. Limit your family's exposure to news, like we said earlier, and the social media. Children may misinterpret what they hear and can be frightened about something they do not understand. Try to keep up with regular routines, like we said, school are closed now. Create a schedule for learning activities and relaxing and fun activities. Be a role model. Take breaks. Get plenty of sleep, exercise, and eat well. Connect with your friends and family members. This will be a great help to you. So, one thing also that I came when I was researching about this was a lot of parents are staying home for work now. They work at home, and a spouse your spouse might be home working, and so there's lack of space. You know, kids, teenagers are doing their homework, and your spouse is on one corner, so there's really no space. Uh, they, as a mom, you who is in charge of the house, you run out of space where you do your stuff. Be patient. Talk about where you want people to sit, allocate spaces for each person so that they know where they're supposed to go, so it's not crowded and create a lot of confusion. So this is what I will encourage you guys to pay attention to as a family. The relationship, it's not who made it through this the best. Is how you connect with each other. So pay attention what connects you with your child, with your husband, with your wife, with your relatives, whether talking to them on the phone, because we are all going to come through this uh, in one piece. We will make it. But we need to be able to reach out when you are struggling, call a friend, call somebody that might encourage you, call your pastor, call your counselor if you need to get help to be able to cope during this time. And for those who are Christians, you know there's no way we can make it through this um, unprecedented situation we are living in without God. And so, whether you have a short daily devotion with your kids and reassure them where your faith and your hope is. That all these things, the world might be shaken, but one thing that all this stuff won't take away from us is our hope in God, because He will be there. No matter what happens, He will see us through. So let that be your strong pillar that you stand on, and we will get through this together. God bless.
That's good stuff,
Yeah,
Christina.
so I'll hand over to Sarah, who will now give you specific um, coping skills.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so I'm super excited to kind of bring some coping skills to you today and some other things that are going to help you out to fight the anxiety, to fight the depression. So first off, coping skills, what are they? You know, basically what I describe as coping skills are things that you do that are fun, that bring you joy, that kind of alleviate some of the bad feelings that we have, like the sadness, like the fear. that a good definition, you think? All right, cool. All right, so I found whenever I'm doing counseling or with myself that there's two different kinds of coping skills. The first kind of coping skill is a processing coping skill, and the second kind is distracting. So what a distracting coping skill does is it distracts you from your current problem. So it takes your mind off of whatever's going wrong, whatever's making you feel bad, and it puts it on something else that's more fun, more enjoyable. A processing coping skill, it helps you process through your feelings and what you're actually, thinking, what you're feeling, and it kind of helps you makes you feel better with that. So it's really helpful and very important to have a mix of both of those, because sometimes we need a distracting coping skill to help us get us through these really bad feelings to get to a point where we can process through them. So just some examples of distracting coping skills: watching TV, watching a movie, playing video games, reading a fun book that you like, hanging out with people, exercising. And some processing ones could be talking to a supportive friend, actually talking about the problem, what's going on, how it's bothering you, and make sure it's somebody who's going to validate you and help you out. Not somebody who's going to be like, go get better, I don't care kind of a thing, but, actually listen to you to see what's going on. Journaling is one of my favorite personal things to do when I'm having a hard time. You talk about it, you get it out on paper, it helps you get it, out of you and on something else. Praying, another one of my favorite ones to do, bring your worries to God. And God, the Bible says there's no fear in perfect love, and God is perfect love. So there's so much peace that comes from praying and talking to Jesus during this kind of time. And reading the Bible. It's the living word. It speaks, God speaks through the Bible all the time, and God will bring you a lot of cool things. I recommend Psalms for sure. David wrote those, and he, is having a terrible time in that, but he also finds the joy in God and stuff. So it's a really good place to start reading the Bible to get some encouragement for sure. I have a few other helpful techniques that might help you if you're having some, anxiety or some sadness, panic attacks. These things kind of help you get through that. The first one's grounding. So there's different techniques that you can use to ground yourself. My favorite one is using the five senses. So your five senses are hearing, sight, sound, taste, touch. Is that five? Smell. There you go. I have a hard time with all of them all the time. So what you're going to do is you're going to look around you and you're going to say out loud 5 things that you can see. You're going to do 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. So I got them all right there. So it really helps you kind of get you to the spot, in the present, in the moment, and it kind of takes your mind and whatever it's bothering you, it kind of focuses you on that. It's very helpful. It's helpful for anger as well, whenever you're getting really angry, to kind of stop and do that. Muscle relaxation is fun. I'm not in a chair I can do it in, but you sit, with your feet on the ground, and you start with your feet, and you flex them, and then you let the muscles go loose, and you kind of work your way up to your ankles, to your calves, to your thighs, stomach, work all the way up and then work back down. And it really helps kind of relax you a little bit. Some deep breathing. I recommend the 4-7-8 technique. That's when you you inhale for 4 seconds through your nose. You hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then you exhale very forcefully but controlled for 8 seconds. It kind of calms you down a little bit. I recommend doing it 4 to 5 times or until you're kind of calmed down. Another thing that I found helpful and kind of humoring actually is yoga, because I'm pretty terrible at yoga, but it's also pretty fun to kind of relax you, get your body in a relaxed state. And once again, it might bring some laughter if people are watching for sure too, because it's pretty funny to watch that happen. And the last thing that I like to do within myself at home, and I recommend for people, is positive thinking. So when you capture your thoughts, when you have these unhealthy thoughts or negative thinking, that really can set your mood and your behaviors to be something negative. So if you change these thoughts to something more positive, what's going to follow is more positive emotions and more positive behavior. So examples of that would be, changing the thought of I'm stuck at home indefinitely to, I'm safe at home. Nothing's really going to affect me here like it is out in the public, and I'm safe here. Or another thought would be, we can't leave the house. That would be your negative thought. To, I get to spend more time with my family. I get to spend more time to myself. I get to spend more time with my dogs, whatever you want to put in there. Just kind of try to flip that negative thought to something more positive. I know my husband and I, I've talked about this before. We like to meal prep and we have our healthy food that we eat. And right now it's pretty impossible to find the food that we need, to cook what we want. So I take that negative thought of we can't eat healthy, what are we going to do, to this is kind of a fun game to kind of find all the food that we can find and make something healthy and satisfying out of it. So those are some helpful things that I think might help calm your anxiety, bring you a little bit more happiness. But yeah, with Christina, without God, it's a lot harder to be happy and at peace through this time. So I definitely recommend having that quiet time with him. If you have kids and you have like a spouse, bring them into some of that quiet time, but definitely keep that quiet time, with you and God alive, where you're talking to him, where you're reading the Bible, where you're just, worshiping him. Worship's so powerful, especially the victory songs, claiming those victory songs of what God can do and what he's doing already and what he's done. So, yeah, God is awesome, and he's going to get you through this. And don't feel bad if you are experiencing some fear or sadness during this time, because we're humans and we're going to. But the cool thing about God is he can take that and he will take it from us if we let him. He don't ever forcefully take it, but he will, accept it, and he will give you peace and joy through all this. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any other questions or comments, or you want to share some of your coping skills or ideas for people, please leave a comment, send us an email. We'll have that pop up here in a second. And as always, feel free to join Community of Faith at coftv.com, Wednesdays at 6:30 and Sundays at 10 o'clock. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been great to have you, and we'll talk to you later.